All right. So someone said, I just joined the inner circle and I've cut calories to be in a calorie deficit, but now I'm cranky a lot. How do I control that?
Hangry.
Yeah, hangry.
Should we assume that it's a reasonable deficit and not an extremely large deficit, which is going to be not sustainable and lead to higher amounts of hangriness?
Yeah. Yeah, because hopefully since they joined the inner circle, they're doing it properly. But some of them join the inner circle and then hey, I know you said do goal body weight by 12, but I did goal body weight by 8. And I'm like, all right, well, then you're not following my fucking instructions. So assuming that they actually did goal body weight by 12 and it's a sustainable deficit, yeah, we're going to assume that.
I mean, there's a few things going on. One could be related to food choice and making sure you're getting enough protein, making sure you're having enough fiber, making sure you're having slightly higher volume foods like fruits and vegetables and fewer very dense foods like a Snicker bar is going to lead to a bit more satiety and probably you feeling better. There's also a part of me that, I don't know this individual, so I can't gauge like what was baseline hangriness versus where they're at now and like how in a bad mood are they as a result of this. But being in a deficit sucks. Like it's not fun at all. You just did it for 30 days, which isn't a tremendous amount of time. And by like 2/3 of the way in, you were like, this sucks. Like, I don't enjoy this at all. And so there's also an element of understand that fat loss phases are only temporary and it is very unenjoyable, but you will get to a place where you're going to be able to maintain that progress. There is a light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, I like that. I think one of the things that we could talk about food choice and all that, but I feel like we've spoken about that enough. And like, I think more the psychology component is the most important. Yeah, get the book, Eat It.
We crushed that chapter. How to stay full in a calorie deficit.
I think you hit on a really important point, which is like being in a calorie deficit sucks. The other thing is a lot of people, when they go into a calorie deficit, they're not really that consistent, which just extends the duration of the calorie deficit. And so they just have to do it for longer. It's like, if you are ridiculously consistent for 30, 60, 90 days, you will lose an unbelievable amount of weight in a very sustainable way so that you don't have to do it for very long. Whereas if you just are like 40%, 50% consistent, that's fine, but it's going to take way, way longer and make it more psychologically draining. It's like you're in this calorie deficit prison for a year or 2 years or 3 years when you could just be in jail for like 30, 60, 90 days. And that's fine. That like it sucks, but like it's better to be in there for 90 days than it is there to be there for 3 years. So you get unbelievably consistent for those 30, 60, 90 days. You make tremendous progress. If you want to then go on a maintenance break for a month, 2 months, 3 months, go for it. Go on maintenance, go on vacation, whatever it is. Like, don't go off the rails, but increase your calories. Then if you want to come back and lose more, you go for it. But I think it's one of the biggest issues is like, know you're going to be hungry, know you're going to have to make sacrifices. Like, and that might mean either when you go to dinner, you don't order the meal that you really want, you get a different meal. Maybe when you get the meal that you really want, you immediately take half of it and put it into a to-go container so that you don't have the entire meal sitting in front of you. Maybe you don't drink as much alcohol as you normally would. Maybe you like really force yourself to get your steps in, your workouts, and you don't want to do it. Like, yeah, you make some sacrifices so that you can reach your goal more quickly because you know it's going to suck. You know it's not going to be fun. And again, this is assuming that your nutrition is really good. If you haven't read Eat It and you want to like, or like whatever, like all like how to stay full in a calorie deficit, there's a million articles and all that, but high quality food and be really consistent and suck it up for a relatively brief period of time and be super consistent. And then also having smart snacks around. Like for me, I have miso soup. So anytime I'm hungry, like boom, 20 calorie packet of miso soup, boom. It staves off my hunger. easy. I have like a big salad, boom, easy, whatever. I have like, there are so many different little snack options you can have, but the consistency part is, I think, the most underrated and most important.
I was literally just going to say that one of the huge benefits of maintaining a consistency calendar is that you can't lie to yourself, because it's way too easy to be on track Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, half a Thursday, and then just kind of a bite of this, eat this, not tracking Friday, not tracking Saturday, going to the barbecue, eating the pizza, like rationalizing, it's the weekend, other people are doing it, I've been working so hard, I deserve this. See the scale the next week, no fat loss progress, or maybe the scale's up a little bit, getting frustrated, and then being even unintentionally like lying to yourself about how your consistency has been. Whereas if you're maintaining a consistency calendar, you're going to see like X's and O's, or green check, red X, however you want to do it. You're going to see, oh, I was on track for 3 days, and then I wasn't for 3 days. And then I was on track for 2 days, and then I wasn't for 4 days. And understand that you need a lot better consistency than that to see progress. And like you just said, it's going to extend the time you're in a deficit. Being in a deficit sucks. So it's going to extend the amount of time that this is unenjoyable. It's going to reduce your ability to stick with it. So yeah, hunker down for a shorter amount of time rather than like be in limbo for 2 or 3 or 5 times that amount of time.
Yeah, exactly. People don't like the idea of making sacrifices much. It's
in life.
In general, yeah. The idea. Well, everyone wants to have their cake and eat it too.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, well, sometimes you're gonna have to. This is essentially what I mean when I've spoken in the past about how sometimes in order to achieve balance, you have to go through periods of unbalance.
Mm-hmm.
And I think people just want to have balance right away. So, but sometimes in order to create balance, you have to toe the line. You have to like go to an edge. You have to push the boundary, know where, because how can you know where middle ground is if you've never gone to the edge? You don't know where the edge is. So you might think you're in the middle, but you've only taken half a step and you have 100 more steps to go. So how can you really know what balance is if you've never seen both sides? I think in order to really be balanced, you have to, okay, you know what? For me to be balanced with my nutrition, I have to know what it's like to be meticulous with my nutrition, so that then I can pull back and be like, you know what? I don't have to be that meticulous. I can be a little bit less and still be fine. But if you've never, ever tracked meticulously, even for a week, then how can you possibly know what balance is? I think sometimes you really need to push that boundary if you're really going to reach a point in which you can actually be balanced. And I think this goes for everything: work-life balance, family, relationships, fitness, nutrition, all of it. Like if you want to have real balance, you have to push the boundaries so that you know what balance is.
Well said. Mic drop.